We're going to look at a few things today that might come up at the beginning of your paper 2 that you've got coming up soon. First thing we're going to look at is rounding. So when we're rounding, we might get some questions that look a little bit like this. It's really important to note what they're asking us to round to. So this first question, for example, is asking us to round to the nearest 10, the second question to the nearest 100, the third question to the nearest 1,000. So we need to look at our place value columns for this one. So we know we've got units, tens, hundreds and thousands. So we're going to go units, tens. This one's asking us to round to the nearest 10. So we're going to look here and then we need to look to the number next to it. If that number is greater than 5, it's going to round up. If it's less than 5, it's going to round down. The other thing that we can think about is this number here closer to 30 or is it closer to 40? Well, it's definitely closer to 30. So my number to the nearest 10, 4,430. The next one then to the nearest 100, units, tens, hundreds. We're going to be looking at this one here. Look to the number next door. If it's greater than 5, it's going to round up. Again, this one's not greater than 5, so it's not going to round up. Or we can be thinking closer to 700 or closer to 800, definitely closer to 700, so 6,700. And the last one then rounding to the nearest 1,000, units, tens, hundreds, thousands. Look to the number next door. Now this time it is 5, so it is going to round up, or we can be thinking, is this number closer to 2,000 or 3,000? 3,000. Now looking at decimals to percentages. So this is a calculator paper, so if you were having to turn a decimal into a percentage, I would recommend that you use your calculator. And to do that, all you need to do is take your decimal and multiply it by 100, because percentage is always out of 100. So 0.7 times 100 is going to give me 70%. 0.25 as an example is going to give me 25% when I multiply by 100, and then this last one, 0.375% times by 100. You might have to push the SD button on your calculator for this one, but it is 37.5%. On to multiples, quite commonly mixed up with factors. We might get a question that looks a little bit like this. Write down all multiples of 6 from the list below. What this is asking us is all numbers that will be in the 6 times table. And we need to make sure that we read the question correctly, because this one's asking us for all of the numbers from the 6 times table. Quite often see students make the mistake of just finding a multiple of 6 and then writing only one number on the dotted line for the answer here. It does want all of them, and the examiner will want to see them all if you get a question that looks like this. So 6 times table then, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, that seems to me like that's enough. Having a look to see what's up here, well, I've got a 6 there, I've got an 18 there, and 24. So my answer that I need to write on the dotted line, 6, 18 and 24, and as I said before, you will need all of them. You might then be asked a question that looks a little bit like this. Write down a multiple of 4 between 20 and 30. Well, it's a multiple of 4, so it's the 4 times table. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, one more for luck, 32. Now it is asking us for a number between 20 and 30. So the numbers I've got between 20 and 30 are actually these two here. And it says A, so this time you don't need to write them both. So 24 or 28 would be an okay answer for this question. Like I said, you don't need to write them both.